Okay. Hi, my name is Martin.
And my name is Catherine Munoz.
What's your name?
Adriana.
Okay, so we did this once already.
Yeah.
We had a little technology mistake going on, so.
So we appreciate you being here again, taking your time
Yes.
to do it again.
So we wanted to talk to you about a social movement that you attended.
Mhm.
Can you first?
Tell us the name of the movement.
Well, first, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay, just making sure. So first, tell us about what the movement was called and what it was about.
Okay, so the movement is March for Our Lives. Well, the march that I went to, that's like the March for Our Lives, and then the movement itself, it's about ending school shootings or or kind of making it harder for people to obtain weapons.
Mhm.
So there is safer schools and there's safer clubs and stuff like that.
Okay. So gun reform, basically.
Yes.
The movement. Okay. So my first or second question, I guess, is how did you hear about specifically the movement, or I guess the March for Our Lives?
Okay, I watched MSNBC almost every day because I'm a political science major, and so I was watching it, and they had a segment on March for Our Lives and the movement and what it stood for, and then they mentioned how there was gonna be marches all over the states and stuff like that. So I went online and I looked up to see if there was any here that were gonna go on, and so sure enough, there was one in LA.
Oh, okay, cool.
Was there a lot of people involved in this movement?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just United States that the march was going to happen. It was in Europe and I think other places in Canada and Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all over.
Global?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then when you were at the march, what was the energy like? And were there a lot of people? Was there one person leading the movement?
The energy there, it was so lively. You had little kids, you had moms and dads with their babies carrying them and strollers, and those were the little kids. And then there was also college students, and there was even a section where I'm pretty sure there was more, and there was 10 college students gathered around by the marketplace in LA, and they had arts and crafts and posters where you could make your own posters.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Quick question. What were some of the sayings on the posters that you saw?
There was a lot of SpongeBob ones that I saw. There was a few song references. As far some that I really liked were for the Lumineers, which is a folk.
A band.
Yeah, a band. Yeah, it's a folk, not folk band, but it's a band, and they have a song called "Flowers in Your Hair."
Mm-hmm.
So then someone put flowers in your hair, not gun residue or something like that. And then there was Harry Potter ones. It was Dumbledore's fans come support.
Yeah.
And I was oh my gosh, there's people that like Harry Potter here, and I was ah. And then there was a couple what's it called? There was just so much. There was one about the Kardashians, there's there, it's just so many. The ones that I kind of noticed a lot more were the SpongeBob memes, where it was it was something the NRA said something, and then it's when SpongeBob is well, this with the capital letters and stuff like that.
I think that's a good way to connect with people, huh? Their interests that.
Yeah.
Get their attention.
What's called? You also told us last time about how there were people who attended the march where like they had gone through it.
Oh yeah. So as far as speakers go, there were the people from the Parkland shooting. There were people from the Columbine shooting, and those that were from Parkland, they actually had like their own kind of logoed shirt. It was a burgundy one, and it was like Parkland Survivor, or like there for Columbine, like there was like a couple people that were like meant to be speakers. And so a couple of them were on wheelchairs, so you know, like they were kind of like mixed between the crowd, and they like had to get up on there. And then there was this other girl that mentioned about like the Vegas shooting, and she was a part of it, and I think like her family was up there, and it was, you could tell like this doesn't just affect them like once the situation is going on, like they were crying, and even though it had happened like so many months ago, like they explained how it's like when you go through an experience like that, like it does stay for you like forever, like
traumatized.
yeah.
Right. So from your experience being in the social movement so far, do you think that progress has been made?
Yes.
Yes.
I definitely think so. I mean, as far as Trump had like originally planned, I don't remember really like what ended up happening, but he actually brought in the people from Parkland, and they like sat down and talked, and like his plan was to like end bump stocks, which is like bump stocks are things that you put on the gun to make it go faster.
Okay.
And so that was that. But I don't like regarding like the actual political aspect, like passing laws and stuff like that, I'm not sure, but I do know that companies like Walmart and like the Dick's Sporting Company, like several companies boosted up their age from like 18 to 21. And I know this for sure because there was actually a kid that ended up suing because he was like, no, like I'm gonna buy a gun, but it's like you're not 21. And then as far as like airlines, they ended up their like their discount towards
the NRA membership. Right?
the NRA membership sort of discount for people to fly. But the thing with that was that like only such a few amount, like probably like 10 or less people had actually used the discount. So when they started like taking their like not tying themselves to the NRA, like that became a problem. And then I know for a fact like a Fox News reporter, like an anchor, she tweeted something to one of the leaders of like the movement, which is the leaders of the movement are the kids from the Parkland shooting. It's not older people, like no, it's all like 17-year-olds and stuff like that still in high school. So she ended up getting advertisement cut off from her like news because she like tweeted something bad about one of the leaders. Like it wasn't really directed at the movement, but because she said something bad about the leaders, like a couple companies cut off their advertisement for her.
Oh,
Oh, I can't see it.
yeah, I can't see. That's why. Oh, that's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
and then you mentioned the leaders that like at the march,
right? Yeah.
and I don't know if there was one specific person because I kind of arrived like not way before. So by the time I got there, there was just like a whole bunch of like people all gathered around on the street.
Okay, already there, huh?
Yeah.
I forgot to ask you because you mentioned something about how it's like younger people in the movement. Do you think it's primarily like the newer generations who are a part of it, or in like the older generations are kind of pro NRA? And
I think because of what I saw at the march, it's a lot of older people, but they do emphasize a lot that it has to do with like younger kids making it because you know, they are advocating for like safety. Like it's not about the older people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is about like the younger people and having a say. And so when it comes to the movement, it's the younger people that are like, oh, like register to vote, and it's actually because of the movement.
Right.
Like, oh, we need to start registering to vote so you have a voice and can vote out the people that are pro NRA
Right.
and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What do you think about teachers owning firearms to protect their classrooms?
So, I personally do not think they should carry firearms just because, like, they already have so much on their plate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's it called? When they talk about, like, the Parkland shooting, there was actually an officer that was there.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't even do any, not like he didn't do anything. Well, actually, he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Left, right?
Yeah, so it's
Basically,
like, if it's down to like how the guy just shot out of, like, was just shooting, it's like, if you're a teacher, like, obviously your first instinct is to like grab your kids and like stay inside the class. Like, you just have so much to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Having a firearm,
Makes everything worse.
yeah, and at least that's what I think.
Right.
And I mean, like, there's other alternatives. Obviously, some are not like the best ideas, but I know a school proposed to like have rocks in their classroom, like
Really?
buckets with
Oh.
rocks.
Bucket of rocks.
And I mean, it's not gonna be like, oh my gosh, like I'm so terrified of rocks, but it's like at the same time, like there's something.
That
Yeah.
kind of hurt.
Yeah.
That kind of hurt.
Some defense in
Yeah.
that situation is something.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Let's see. What else did we ask?
This
I'm
is-
trying
this
to
is-
remember.
You-
This is what sucks because like the first time we did it, it was just like
we were
everything-
getting new information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything. But like,
Yeah.
but like now it's just like we have to like think about what we told.
Well, you
what we
also,
asked.
you also asked like, why did I join the movement?
Oh, that's
Okay.
Yeah, and
Tell me
that's so I joined the movement because, like I said, it has to deal with the younger kids, and I have a
Right.
younger sister.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, who's
Wow.
9,
See,
and
I didn't know about.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it.
so and she lives in Colorado, which is like another state. So
Yeah.
I mean, like I'd want her to grow up in a safe school environment. So it's like, since I can't be there, I want to try and see if like I can at least like voice my opinion to like make it so maybe in the future she can obviously like have a better safety
Mm-hmm.
in her school.
Another question was that I remember was that would you tell your friends about it? Was that one of the questions? If you would like tell other people about it so they could like join you?
Oh yeah, you said that like making a difference.
No,
Like, sometimes you can't be there at a movement, but you can.
Oh,
make a
yeah,
difference
like
by
spreading
the word.
Spreading the word,
Spreading
yeah.
awareness.
Yes.
So social media does have a big impact because some people might just say like, oh, it's Twitter. Like how when a tragedy occurs, it's like, oh, thoughts and prayers, and all you do is like, oh, say thoughts and prayers and stuff like that, and like that does nothing. So some people put it to an extent like, oh, just like retweeting it, like it doesn't make a difference, but honestly it does, because like you're putting awareness to the situation, and you might be busy and not be able to go to the movement, but a friend of yours might, and if you at least go to one, then maybe it'll like get what some of your friends motivated to go. And I know this because I put on my Snapchat like, oh, I'm here, and then I got a lot of like, oh, you should have told me and I would have gone. But it's like some people don't know about movements until they're already happening.
Right. Yeah.
That's right.
So I think last time we talked about that, how like sometimes I want to be a part of these marches and stuff, but I don't hear about them until they've already happened or like they're happening at that moment.
Yeah.
You said that the best way to stay informed is to watch the news, basically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And then just,
that's a start, because a lot of times it's like, oh, how annoying, like the news, like they say the same things over and over, but it's like when tragedies like that happen, or just like say like after once Trump was elected, there was so many marches. It's like, how do you keep up with them, where it's like,
right.
when it comes to that, you can always see like what interests you, or what do you think, like who do you see on social media like talking about like something that they support, because most likely there is gonna be like a march for it that way, like
Yeah,
mhm.
makes sense. I guess another question that I didn't ask you last time that I just thought of is that a lot of these people who join these movements have been personally affected by them, like, or like with you, you have a little sister who you want to watch out for. How do you encourage other people to participate in these movements when they don't feel like really connected to the cause? I guess like them
Yeah. Okay, so when it comes to like wanting to I wouldn't, like, it's not really, you don't have to be selfish about yourself. Like, if it's an important issue, it's like, you should. And because another person does, like, once you take into account that there is a lot of people and stuff like that, you want to be a part of that. And like, oh, it's just one person. Like, no, like, you actually coming out and being supportive, like, it does make a difference. Like, you see now when people are voting and it's like, oh, it came down to so many little votes, and it's like, when you think like, oh no, there's only gonna be a little bit of people here, but it's like, no, like, actually be a part of it and like see what comes of it. Like, even if it doesn't like personally affect you, like, if like, it's just an important issue and there should be something done about it, like, you should want to
make a difference, right? Yeah, because it does affect us all. Like, maybe not directly, but indirectly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So did you enjoy the movement?
I did. I went by myself. Like, I got up in the morning. I didn't know I was going to go. Like, I had made plans to go, but I didn't know until the day of. So I just asked a few friends. They kind of all said no. But luckily, I met, like, these ladies in the parking lot. These, like, really old ladies. They were so cute. And that's actually where I got my shirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, I was in the parking lot, and I was like, excuse me, can I join you? And then it was, like, a group of, like, 4 ladies. And they were like, yeah. So then I got a shirt, and one had made an extra poster. So then I got the poster.
Cool.
Yeah, and then another one, she gave me a bracelet for Pura Vida, which is, like, for Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
It's like you buy the bracelets, and then it supports the cause for like Puerto Rico because of like what they're going through and stuff. And like, she bought it, but like she just decided to give it to me. Yeah. And then they were all like in their 70s and 60s. Yeah, and they ended up being a group of 20.
Wow.
Of like older people.
That's pretty big.
That's cool though. They had everything ready for you, huh?
Yeah, they were like, oh yes. And then they kept seeing if I was okay, which made the experience even better because it's like I might have gone by myself, but there's always people that are going to like want to like take care of you, like make sure you're okay. Like every now and then they would be like, oh, do you need water? Like, do you need something? And it's like so nice. Like I think my first like going to the march, like it was my first time, but it was such a good experience, and I felt so welcome that I would want to do it again. Like this time, obviously, come a little bit more prepared, but like I'd want to do it. Yeah.
Is there another movement or march you have lined up?
No, I don't, but I do want to start like looking things up because I'm gonna be going up north to graduate, So
Okay.
they, like the school itself, I've gone to look at it, and the students are really vocal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they have a lot of marches and stuff like that within the school. So I know I'm gonna be involved in like the student body and stuff like that.
Okay, great. All right, so I think that wraps up our time. Thank you for being here again.
And thank you, and I'm sorry for
It's okay.
doing this all over again.
No,
I'm really
it's
sorry.
Yeah.
okay.
It was
Thank
interesting to hear about your experience.
Yeah,
too.
nice shirt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe it was meant to be.
It was
so you
meant to
so
be
you
so
could bring the
yeah,
shirt,
you
you
can
know?
share the
So you can bring the shirt this time. All right,
Okay,
thank you.
thanks. Yay!